Well, I did promise on the About page of my YouTube channel that I would do the top 10 list someday. I thought the top 10 favourite video game soundtracks would be the best option. OSTs, by the way, stands for original soundtrack. Side note, the games in this list aren't ranked in any particular order, just because I can't be bothered. I'm also picking these contestants from my very own YouTube watch history. And the songs featured in this video are the songs I listen to most, or the songs I think are so good they deserve to be featured in a top 10 list. Number 10, Twinbee. Twinbee is a fairly obscure game that was only available in Japan in arcades and on the Famicom and the MSX line of computers. Although thankfully, this amazingly fun co-op game was ported to the Nintendo Switch Online service and the Wii Virtual Console. But I doubt anyone would be playing that version though, since the Wii Shop channel closed in 2014. This game is, in other words, a hidden gem. Now that we got that out of the way, how do I feel about the soundtrack? I love it! This game is a wonderfully charming OST. It's nothing special, but I still love listening to it from time to time when I get bored. And if I listen to it when I'm bored, then it must be good. Number 9, Alpha Mission 2. Alpha Mission 2 is yet another fairly obscure shoot 'em up, which unlike Twinbee, I haven't really played that much because it was only released in arcades. But luckily, we have the power of looking things up on YouTube, so I can still let you hear it. The game itself is really fun, but I've only played it a couple of times. Hard to describe it, it would kind of be like Gradius, but vertical instead of horizontal. And I think it has a different power-up system. The soundtrack is great, having a lot of atmosphere and being generally upbeat. My favourite track would have to be the first level theme. Number 8, Sonic Heroes. Yes, Sonic Heroes. I know that people hate this game, but I like it, and is that really a bad thing? This game, in my opinion, has the best guitar-driven soundtrack of any Sonic game. Like, seriously, those guitars make you want to keep playing. Whenever you die in Power Plant, you always want to keep playing because of that killer soundtrack. Okay, that might have been a bad example, but I think you get the idea. This game built upon many tropes introduced in Sonic Adventure, and even Adventure 2. The team's mechanic built upon the multiple characters of Adventure and brought back old characters from the previous games. The Chaotix team being a great example of that. The style of the game is just good, and I also feel like it inspired later booth gameplay because the levels in Heroes are very much linear, like the style of Sonic Generations or Colors. Anyway, my favourite song from this game would have to be Ocean Palace. Thunderforce IV. Thunderforce IV, in my opinion, has the best music out of any Thunderforce game. Upbeat and fast, this music is perfect for any horizontal shooter. As for the gameplay, I haven't really played Thunderforce IV, but it kinda reminds me of Defense Force. Sort of having the same tone. My favourite song from this game would have to be Fighting Back. Number 6. Plok. Plok's OST is very impressive for a SNES game, in my opinion, since the instruments sound like real instruments, and not like they were sampled from a synthesizer. And if you know anything about MIDI or SNES music, instrument samples are friggin' big, and SNES cartridges are friggin' small. You know how big an average SNES cartridge is? 0.23 megs. Now that's extremely impressive in my opinion, that they even managed to get those samples onto the... And also, the music sounds remarkably good, because, like, the SNES actually has like a filter, or like a buffer or something, which makes the music sound kind of muffled. And this music actually sounds rather like, it sounds like you're listening to like a friggin' live band or something. Maybe not that good, but still. The music is very fitting, each song capturing the magic of the stage it's based on perfectly. The soundtrack seems to have taken inspiration from 70s style pop and prog rock, which Tim himself was listening to at the time. Him and his brother Jeff made some really amazing work, so I suggest you check them out. Plok is also a really good game, which is also really hard. Basically like Rayman, Plok, well I'm guessing it's called Plok, has detachable limbs, except unlike Rayman, you can throw all of them. My favourite song from this game would have to be the title theme. Number 5. Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, or Sonic 3D Blast as it's known in North America, is home to some really catchy tunes I see no one talking about. They are really upbeat and fast, or in other words, perfect for a Sonic game. Since this game sadly didn't sell that well, some of the tracks were put into Sonic Adventure. And did you know that Twinkle Park's Pleasure Castle music was originally supposed to be in this game? For either Spring Stadium or something like that. Whether you're running through a Green Grove Zone or running through your local park, this music will always be stuck in your head. My favourite track from this game is Diamond Dust Zone. Number 4, Pitfall 2, The Lost Caverns. Wow, I'll bet you didn't expect this one on the list. Pitfall 2 is an Atari 2600 game with a soundtrack. Now that fact alone is just really impressive, as most Atari 2600 games don't even have music, let alone a whole soundtrack. And usually the music featured in most Atari 2600 games is just short little ditties. Usually when Atari VCS games do have soundtracks, there is usually no sound effects playing in the background. And that's because the Atari 2600 has 2 4-bit sound channels. Yes, only 2 of them. But why does this music sound so good? Because Pitfall 2 has a support chip in its cartridge that gives it improved visuals and an extra 4 sound channels, which is why this game sounds like an early NES game. As for the actual music itself, it's great. It has an adventurous tone and really fits the game. And there isn't just 1 or 2 ditties, there's a whole soundtrack. The ground theme would have to be my favourite. As for the game itself, it's just Pitfall 1 but better. Number 3, Ufouria the Saga. Sunsoft. If I had to list a developer that always made great soundtracks, it would have to be these guys. Ufouria has such a peaceful yet melancholy soundtrack. In fact, most Sunsoft soundtracks have a slight melancholy overtone, which I love. I've actually never played this game, so that's why I wanted to keep this kind of short. The game has a very good art style, which is actually kind of ahead of its time in many ways. If I put it alongside a game like Undertale, you can see that it blends right in. In fact, it almost reminds me of Steven Universe or Adventure Time because of how good the characters look. The NES can only display 4 colours on each sprite, but most games reserve that 4th colour as transparency. But what's really cool about this game is that you don't even notice how few colours the sprites have because they are designed with this in mind. And I'm sure that most NES games are designed with this in mind. It's just that Ufouria looks quite colourful, really, in the sprite category. In this crop. Anyway, why don't you guys have a listen to my favourite song in this seemingly amazing game? Number 2, Super Bonk. Bonk, one of the mascots for the TurboGrafx 16 console, the baby caveman that most people these days seem to have forgotten about. Most if not all of his games have good soundtracks, but today we're just going to touch on Super Bonk's soundtrack. Made by Hudson-Soft, who is now part of Konami, this game has an upbeat and bouncy soundtrack, perfect for bonking things. Some of the music even reminds me of music from the time. As for its gameplay, yeah, I'd pass on this one. The controls are quite stiff, and 3 again. Number 1, Sonic Adventure. Wow, Sonic Adventure! This game came from a cancelled Sonic game, Sonic Extreme, spelled with an X. Although I'm not going to go through it in this video though because there are plenty of videos already going through this topic. This game is probably my favourite Sonic game from Emerald Coast to Hot Shelter. This game is amazing. This game introduced the homing attack and the light dash. The DX version even featured a cameo from Cream the Rabbit. This game was one of the first Sonic games I ever played, so I may be a bit biased towards it when describing it in this video. Everyone seems to talk about Mario 64, but for me, this game is my Mario 64. Just like that game, Sonic Adventure is very rough around the edges and is in need of a remake. Except, unlike Mario, it hasn't gotten a remake yet. Please make a remake of this game, Sega, please. The camera, for example, is very wonky. Game Grumps was a little too harsh on this game in my opinion, since it's seen as Aaron hates Sonic. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Where was I? Yes, the music. This game has a very jazzy and iconic soundtrack. Some tracks would even strike from Sonic 3D Blast and put into this game. My favourite track would have to be either Mechanical Resonance or The Final Edge. For The Final Edge, I mean.